Hello, I'm Cherise George, and I'll be presenting the argument that informal workgroups are assets to an organization rather than liabilities. According to Sherlock Holmes, the world is full of obvious things which nobody ever observes. Such is the case with informal workgroups. Though ever present in workplaces, they are often disregarded. However, a careful examination of their presence will reveal 1. They make the workplace more tolerable. 2. They inspire their members to perform. And 3. They directly contribute to work productivity. Hussein 1990 explains that informal workgroups are voluntary groupings of employees based on their needs and not as a requirement of the organization. These needs include friendship, support, and safety. This is significant since Maslow's theory of needs purport that these immediate desires must be met if, for instance, employees are to then focus on organizational goals. Hence, with regard to Claim 1, their contribution to the work environment, informal workgroups generate a sense of satisfaction and belonging in their members, making the work atmosphere more tolerant. They also help their members to cope with the demands of the job. A study done by Tyro 2010 highlights that work systems can affect employees' mental and physical health and their longevity. Informal work groups provide a safe space to discuss frustrations and may even provoke laughter. And who doesn't love a good laugh? Consequently, internal conflicts are more likely to be resolved to keep the group intact. Their peace facilitates a more peaceful environment for everyone. Concerning Claim 2, their impact on the members, Hunter et al. 2010, as cited in Daniel 2018, note that groups foster personal growth. This is evident when members inspire each other to pursue training and development. Such pursuits can improve the quality of work produced. Members are also more likely to engage in discretionary efforts, which according to Dubinsky and Skinner 2002, are work-related activities not stipulated by the company and for which there are no known remuneration or reward. The Hawthorne studies of work relations in the manufacturing industry reveal that when groups select their own members, like informal work groups do, their output increase. Sonnenfeld, 1985. Additionally, informal work groups naturally create self-managed teams. Yeats and Seward, 2000, define self-managed teams as groups of employees officially organized to perform specific tasks requiring the use of technical and management skills. However, to construct these teams require considerable time. Informal work groups, having established some measure of cohesion, can offer the company an already existing self-managed team. Claim 3 highlights the group's direct contribution to work productivity. Tyro 2010 suggests that 80% of work productivity issues derive from deficiencies in the environment, such as limited resources and poor interactions. With regard to the latter, informal work groups often exchange pertinent information to improve their performance. So too, by pooling and exploring their talents and skills, the group's members can produce innovative ideas such as more efficient methods of operations that will make the company more proficient. The groups also help to reduce staff turnover. Bullock et al. 1997, as cited in Yeats and Seward 2000, note that the cooperation that exists in self-managed teams, which also exists in informal work groups, promote job satisfaction, which leads to staff retention. Nevertheless, there are those who consider informal work groups to be liabilities to organizations. They contend that they have competing interests and contribute to interpersonal conflicts. They believe that these groups are more interested in their own goals, such as bonding, than in the organization's goals. Also, that discord between the members of informal work groups and non-members can arise from in-group, out-group notions. Robbins and Judge 2016, as cited in Al-Shamli 2020. Given that conflicts are inevitable, these views may need some adjustments. Firstly, the reason for the group's existence should be understood. To this end, Hussein 1990 advocates that informal groups meet the members' need for social interactions. Daniel 2010 suggests that they serve as regulators, encouraging management to be more considerate and thorough in their planning. As Shambi 2020 reminds that some informal work groups are actually created to increase productivity. Secondly, Hussein 1990 recommends that the inevitable existence of informal work groups and their ability to improve the organization be acknowledged. This should motivate administrators to strategically incorporate them into their operational plans, inclusive of establishing good relations with them and allowing them to participate in decision-making processes. It can then be concluded that informal work groups are valuable to the organizations in which they appear. They provide a more conducive work environment and motivation for the members and enhance work productivity. Any perceived conflicts of interest and personalities can be averted by assessing the true nature of the groups and incorporating relevant management strategies to harness their potential. This will allow for happy employees and thriving organizations. After all, teamwork makes the dream work. Thank you. Credit is given to the following sources used in the preparation of this presentation.